How's it going, everyone? Andy here from 4K Downtime, back at you with another 4K news. So it seems like Castlevania is coming back soon because it has been reported that the anniversary collection has actually been rated in Australia, and this is reported by Gamatsu. I'll leave a link in the description below. So they've reported that apparently there's a Castlevania anniversary collection, and like I said, it's been rated in Australia. And it seems like it's going to be obviously a combination of some of the older titles. Now, what titles can they possibly be? Well, we don't really know at the moment because it could be the classic games like the NES ones up to Super Castlevania 4, I'm assuming, or it could be starting from the the Ingavania games, which when Igarashi actually took over when he first did Symphony of the Night, which is a fantastic game. I still love it even to this day. And then maybe a collection of those titles afterwards, because Inga produced pretty much all of the ones after Symphony of the Night. So I think those might be the ones that actually will be included in this collection, just purely because I think those aged a little better than the classic games. Now, I have nothing against the classic games. The classic games are all absolutely amazing. I still go back and play them every now and then. But I just felt like in this time, I felt like a lot of these old school Castlevania games might piss off a lot of gamers today, just purely because of how difficult they can be. They are quite stiff and that kind of stuff, when especially stiff jumps and everything. But I felt like with the games that Inga worked on later on, they're a bit more easy to get a grasp of, especially when it comes to indie games these days. Yeah, a lot of Metroidvania games, they are quite similar in terms of their structure, even movement. They're quite similar to a lot of the Ingavania games. So I just felt like they probably will want to release those games instead of the classic ones, although I do really want them to release then a classics Castlevania collection, which is more for the old school fans. But of course, let's look at why Konami is doing this. Now, there are a few reasons. Number one is just that, well, they probably just want a little quick cash grab, from a collection like this, just to get Castlevania fans to just buy it, because why wouldn't they buy it? Especially if it's just a compilation of the old games. You don't really have to update anything. All you have to do is just basically port them to every single console. Now, while that's most likely the truth, but I do hope that this is more than just Konami just wanted a quick buck. I actually wanted them to hopefully use this as a way to test the waters, especially now, just to see whether or not how fans respond to a Castlevania game, and see whether or not if it's viable to make another one, make a brand new one. And again, it could be either style. I'm okay with that. It could either be a classics title much more similar to Rebirth that they did on a WiiWare, or do one that is do a spiritual successor. Well, not a spiritual successor, more of an actual successor to Symphony of the Night. Either one, I could take either one, whether it's a classic style or the Symphony of the Night style. Those are perfectly fine, either one. I wouldn't really expect a 3D game, because obviously it's probably going to be a higher production, and it's going to cost them more money. And the way how Konami seems to me as a company nowadays, it seems like they want to get money but spending as less as possible, which isn't the most ideal way, but whatever, it's Konami, what could you expect from them? But I do hope that they are using this just to test the waters, because like I said, I could care less whether or not if you make a 3D game. I've always preferred Castlevania in 2D anyway, so if it's a 2D game, then I'll definitely be there. And here's a tip for you, Konami: if you do truly think you guys maybe, let's say, we're just simply we don't have the talents anymore at our company to actually make a new Castlevania game, well, seek out some indie developers. Look at Hollow Knight, look at Dead Cells or Guacamelee. Those are great Metroidvania style games. So if you can actually reach out to some of those developers, if you guys think you're incompetent enough to make another one, look at them and ask them whether or not if they want to make a new one, because considering how their game is, I could definitely see them doing a really amazing Castlevania game. But anyway, guys, of course, this is just my 2 cents on the matter. Thank you so much for watching as usual. Make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. This is Andy from 4K Downtime signing off. Have a good one.